Welcome to another reaction video. Today, I thought we would go ahead and do some more Overtonight. Granted, not necessarily the most suggested song that I have been, getting in the comments, but a special request from one of my friends who was surprised that I did a reaction to him previously already at all. The Infernal Imp in her own making. Maya, shout out Maya, to this song, the Mirrors demo, something that she likes and she said would be good because it's apparently, I think, either one of or his most popular song. I might be wrong about that, but she said she really liked it in general, and that I would probably like it as well due to the vibe. And another mutual friend, Sammy, listens to a lot of music kind of like this, so and we vibe on that kind of same scale, so this would probably be a good next step. So without further ado, let's get into it, shall we?
Take down all the mirrors in my house. I hate my nose, eyes, and my mouth. I hate the jokes I laugh about. I hate the hoes I'm sad about. She calls up my phone, ringing.
I hate the hoes I'm sad about.
Baby, won't you tell me what the fuck I'm doing? Ooh, I hate the feeling of my house. I wanna die on top of my couch.
Okay. First of all, might I just add, damn, this is a short video, I just realized. First of all, wow, the beat kills. First of all, just out the gate, it's got that kind of punk rock kind of vibe, which I 100% must agree with now, Maya, and her comments. I would definitely like this. This is definitely something Sam would like. Oh, man, already I'm starting to notice a pattern perhaps about Mr. Overtonight, or I don't know his name, but Overtonight's music so far with the elephant cage, is that he really likes this kind of upbeat, more popular, or not popular, but upbeat, kind of joyful, get you to move around and vibe, kind of lyrical instruments in the background, and then the kind of the lyrics themselves are a lot more serious, a lot more of a got to get the emotion out, belting that out. Clearly talking about himself, right? He hates the hoes he's sad about. Let me go back actually just to get all that, because I kind of got overwhelmed a bit with the instrumentals.
Take down all the mirrors in my house. I hate my nose, eyes, and my mouth.
Yeah, that take down all the mirrors. Oh boy, I know somebody just like that. I know somebody who's done exactly that and refused to look into the mirror. It can be hard sometimes to look at yourself, especially in rough times like these, especially if you're down on your luck. Don't want to look at yourself because maybe you don't take care of yourself in a lot of other ways, and just a mirror ain't going to help you any, and it might just reinforce the kind of bad thoughts that you have. And that's certainly a human thing to do. That's just normal. So goodness me, I can relate to that. Geez.
I hate the jokes I laugh about. I hate the hoes I'm sad about. She calls up my phone, ringing.
I would like to make a small comment, and again, I'm sorry, I'm going to be pausing a lot. That's the nature of a reaction video, but that little comment, I was going to say, to hate the jokes you laugh about. There's a lot of reasons, a lot of reasons why somebody can feel and do that, and be that way. I personally have found myself in a sense. I think we all have, if you've grown up in this kind of more modern era, have tried to hate but hate the things you laugh about. Either, typically, if it's from a real sense, which I'm assuming it is for him, like you are actually finding enjoyment out of the comedy that you are finding, but you don't like it because maybe you don't relate, because not other people are relating to it or think it's funny, or maybe even think it's bad, comedically. If that's the route that it is, that he hates because of that, I would have to say that it's hard to do, but you will find yourself standing upon your own eventually, no matter what. Okay, trying to limit what you find is funny and censor yourself in that regard, although maybe just to do so because maybe you really find some fucked up shit funny. You can still find it funny and keep that thought inside rather than laugh aloud. But I have found personally, and what I will suggest to people, is that you have to be able to laugh out loud. You have to be able to think these things are funny, say they're funny, if they are truly to you, because comedy and laughing and being humorous in that way is a core part of who you are. You cannot render that or mute that at all. And you won't be able to if you want to live a happy life. You just cannot. If, on the other hand, he's saying that because he's trying to, let's say, blend in with a crowd, and he doesn't think that the shit that they're saying, the jokes that other people are saying are very funny, and that's something that he's like trying to pretend to laugh. That's another way. That's another thing that you should do, is just understand that you got to surround yourself with people that actually make you funny, even if let's say you like the people in general, but that part of the dynamic is false. You won't be able to maintain that for so long. Eventually you are going to be filtered down to who you are as the purest form, and you're just going to be able to have to figure out what to do with that and send it out to the right people who are okay with that. Do not surround yourself with people who you have to mute your comedy for, or you feel you have to fake laugh at their jokes. It will not go well. It will kill you inside. Okay, brain rot to the max. It doesn't matter. You will die inside.
All my flaws, baby, won't you tell me what the fuck I'm doing wrong? I hate the feeling of my doubts. I wanna die on my couch.
Ugh. Oh, die on the side of your couch. Oh God. Okay. I'm getting a lot of that kind of dialogue where clearly he's talking about a loved one, significant other, a woman in his life, whoever, and how he feels like, he's like, tell me how to feel, tell me what what I am, tell me, what's going on. Every time you call me, I'm like, oh, fuck, he's having some relationship troubles. And in that kind of inner thought right there, the general dialogue that at least I am aware of, where you're trying to constantly in your head, even somebody you really love, let's say, even taking this out of like a loved one, like a relationship, let's say, a significant other, let's say just a family member or a friend who you really, really admire. You cannot allow yourself to get in your own head and have that thought repeating over and over of, I hope this thing makes them feel a certain way, or I hope they think this is okay, in repetition, back and forth. Okay, you cannot allow yourself them to any dialogue over really what you are. You don't need people to tell you what you are when you're in a stable position. And if you're not in a stable position, you need to understand that asking that is not going to help you at all. It is only going to drive further delusion and obsession, and you cannot allow that to happen because it is a spiral. Okay, you do not need that in your life, and you should not. You should not allow yourself that kind of injustice to your personality. Okay, let yourself sing, let yourself bleed for the canvas. Let yourself be what it needs to be. Again, my general message for this so far, and I just want to be clear when I say that this is not a criticism. This is merely my own thoughts upon what I'm hearing, and I don't think that this is a criticism of his music. It's just, wow, what a relatable thing to say and to feel, and I would like to air out my thoughts on that. Jeez. Oh.
I have a question for you, baby. How do I really even matter to you when you was outside laughing with another dude?
Yep.
You make me hate my face so much.
And that too, he's getting a lot of self-worth, and when he's not getting praised, or he's consistently, he's on this path, right, where, and maybe not praised or consistently, but when he gets self-worth from this person, right, and so he doesn't understand why they're hanging out with him, why they're talking to him. Clearly there's a bit of a one-sided, and maybe it's not one-sided love kind of, giving relationship here. It's just that they feel this way. he feels this way. And to a lot of the time, I personally will say, if you do really feel that way, sometimes it can be blurry and you can be kind of in a depression and things don't really all seem, it's like looking at yourself in a mirror, but the mirror is a it's a circus mirror. All the inputs seem a little bit wonky. I would take this from one step at a time, where you need to restructure yourself. You need to restabilize yourself. You need to do the things that make you happy. You need to slowly build yourself up until you're in a stable position where you can at least rule out that depression and obsession and all of these negative kind of neurological things that are happening in your head are not the reason for your relationships to be failing in the way that they are, or for you to feel the way that you feel in the way that you are for this relationship. I think it is very, very important to understand that if you do all that and say this person is making you feel this way, and you're feeling this kind of self-worth, gratitude, and grasping a lot from this one individual, that's a time to reflect. That's a time for you to really restructure your life and maybe double think that relationship, and really attempt to distance yourself and to embolden yourself for who you are and what you are, so that you can be loved by people who make you feel that way just by default. You don't need to worry about what they think and what they make you feel, because you'll already know. You won't need to second guess any of this. This is a problem, is what I'm saying.
When will I ever feel that? Take down all the mirrors in my house. I hate my nose, eyes, and my mouth. I hate the jokes.
Yeah.
I hate
Them drums, dude.
she calls up my phone, ringing. Baby, just leave me alone. She saw all my flaws. Baby, won't you tell me what the fuck I'm doing wrong? I hate the feeling of my house. I wanna die on top my couch.
Yep.
What do you want from me? I'm never ever good for anything. Why do you talk to me? I'll never ever buy you.
Down all the mirrors in
Oh
my
shit.
house.
A little.
My nose, eyes, and my mouth. I hate the jokes I laugh about.
Little switch up there at the end, huh? I like it.
Calls up my phone, ringing. Baby, just leave me alone. She saw all my flaws. Won't you tell me what the fuck I'm doing?
Yeah. Again, a lot to say. I hope my messaging didn't come off too hard or too like it was too much of a criticism. I don't want that to be the way that it's appeared. It's more just, there's a lot that I feel that this kind of song is made for, and so far, I think even in the past song when we did Elephant Cage, right, it felt like he was definitely speaking and making a song for an individual, for for a relationship, and as somebody who can attest to have written some words, some poems, some lyrical digests for an individual before, and to really want to express yourself, make a song for somebody is what I'm saying. Is it can be a lot of the time, I feel very good after writing something down like that, because it allows you to understand more of the core issues in the moment of your pain. Maybe not necessarily the full grasp of everything, but it helps you centralize and locate some key issues you have currently. And in a song like this, I've heard 1,000 times, right? I think we all have. We've heard songs like this. Not to say it's not special is not what I'm saying, but it is very important to get the right message across. This is a, person who is in hurt, in a relationship that they're not feeling, adequate in. They don't understand what's happening. They don't really get it. They don't, they feel like a relationship has to be balanced. It has to be some kind of, or if not balanced, at least a dynamic that is acceptable. And clearly that's not the case, right? Clearly there's a lot of distancing needed and a lot of overlook to figure out what really makes this thing work and weigh that, pros and cons. And if at the end of the day you feel more cons than there are pros, not everything has to work out. And for a lot of ways, You know, a lot of the times things not working out are almost better than them working out, you know, because sometimes relationships can be chain balls attached to your fucking ankles, weighing you down. And not to say that an individual is necessarily that in totality, that they are just like a useless, you know, I don't like to use that kind of language really, but it's just that connection may not work well. And I think it's very beneficial for a lot of people in life that I know, even ones that are in semi okay relationships, to understand who they are at the core and to express themselves accurately as much as possible, because as life goes on, you are going to want to express that self. That's going to become exactly who you are. This flowering individual will not be able to accept the restraint built around it, to try and sidestep, you know, laughing at the jokes, you know, figuring out, does this person love me, or, you know, why do they even hang out with me? Those are restraints that you cannot and will not be able to uphold. It is better now to rip off the band-aid and start where you can. That way, in the future, you do not have to weather a bigger pain, a bigger wound. Okay, you can rip the band-aid off, way different from than in the future ripping out fucking stitches. Okay, that will be much easier. What an amazing song, what a beautiful instrumental. I mean, damn, I mean, just damn. I really like the punk kind of rock, you know, sad boy, you know, I don't know what you would want to determine that to be, but really enjoyed that. Definitely up my alley. Stuff like this is something that I really would like to indulge more in, not just in Overnight's catalog and discography, but like others in general. If you have anything like this, and feel free to recommend other Overtonight songs as well. Again, to those who had recommended more of Overtonight song in the comments, I will eventually get to those. I do promise. I do promise. Wait. Don't go anywhere. I just wanted to react to this because it was a special request. And again, this kind of stuff is right up my alley, so feel free to suggest other things like this as well. You know, we all go through our bouts of sad and depressive music, and I am personally somebody who did that a lot, and one of those people who really enjoys a you know, a sad song, a depressing song, even if I'm not necessarily depressed or sad now. You know, I really like going back to that vibe. I'm the person who likes a sad song, okay? And will listen to them occasionally, even if I'm not, just to get into the mood to express myself, you know. So thank you, Maya, for the suggestion. Thank you for watching. Again, if you have any other suggestions, feel free to list them down in the comments below. I will look at them. I will put them on the docket, hopefully, so long as it fits, but you know, most of them do. Thank you. Please, the original video will be linked down in the description below, as well as the original or Overnight's channel. Okay, so please go subscribe. Thank you. And as always, I'll see you when I see you. Bye.